What's going on YouTube? It's Eric Kelly, aka The Tech Gentleman, and today I'm bringing you guys my review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. So without further ado, let's talk tech. So guys, like I said, this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. And if you're new to my channel and never watched any of my videos, all the videos on my channel are shot with smartphones. Everybody talks about the picture quality, but I like to demonstrate the video capabilities of smartphones. And today this is being shot on the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. Not the X Plus, but just the Edge, the small one that came out alongside the S6 back in March. So also, this video is going to be a little bit shorter and it's going to be more so a review from my perspective. I've had the Note 5 for about a week, and my perspective is somebody coming from Nexus 6, which is a pretty large phone, and also somebody who goes through phones fairly quickly, but this isn't a review unit. This is going to actually be my daily driver and has been for the past week. So just to give you a little insight as to the type of user I am. I'm always trying to get the newest technology, but also I'm using phones just like everybody else. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is coming from the Nexus 6, from a stock experience. The Note, especially coming from Samsung, is probably one of the biggest differences between stock and Samsung as a software. All right, so the software is drastically different. Samsung adds a lot of extra stuff. Right now what I have is actually a stock theme, and that's one of the things I wanted to point out, is Samsung has actually included a theme engine that is actually pretty good. It's not bad at all. You can actually change the theme. So if off the bat somebody mentions the Samsung and you're like, oh, the software sucks, or I don't like TouchWiz, well, that's not a problem anymore. You can change it, and this looks actually pretty close to stock, and it's still pretty quick. Theme doesn't slow your phone down. I have the Google Now launcher on here right now, and so that's one of the first things I wanted to touch on for people that have always been kind of anti-Samsung because they feel like the software is too heavy. So you do have the option to install a theme, and the performance has been great. Like I said, I've had it for a week, but I haven't had any complaints about the performance. And the second thing I want to touch on is the size. This is a 5.7-inch screen, and for me, like I said, my perspective, I'm coming from the big boy, the Nexus 6, which has a 6-inch screen. So for me, two things happen. One, the screen size, it's a little bit smaller, but it's a little more comfortable. But the biggest difference is the design. The way that Samsung put the curve on the back of the phone, it actually makes it a lot more comfortable to hold. And also just the bezels. Let me turn the screen on, and you can see how thin the bezels are. It's almost going straight to the middle on the sides. So that also helps make the phone feel a lot more compact and a lot smaller as well in your hand. All right. And so one of the things that kind of really motivated me to get this phone was Samsung Pay. And so it hasn't been released yet, but I did find an APK for Samsung Pay. And basically what it does is, it's just like Apple Pay and just like Google Wallet. It lets you make mobile payments using your phone. But the thing that Samsung has done is they purchased a company called LoopPay, and the company LoopPay has a technology that allows you to emulate a card swipe. So what that means is when you go into that, your favorite diner or something like that, and all they have is a regular card reader, you can still use your phone to make a mobile payment. So for me, as soon as Samsung Pay drops, which is supposed to be sometime in September, the only thing I want to have in my wallet is going to be a license and insurance card. So I will definitely be just rocking the wallet case for my phone with those two cards in there. Everything else is going to be on my phone, and I'll actually be able to live and buy stuff. And the second, well, not the second thing, but the fourth thing that I want to talk about is battery life. I know this was a huge concern. And once again, for me, I'm coming from the Nexus 6, which it's a huge phone, has a pretty big battery, has like a 3220 milliamp hour battery, but the battery life was just, the battery life was bad. I mean, if I saw 4 hours of screen on time, I was doing pretty good. I just got used to using a turbocharger to charge it, pretty much a couple times a day. So my experience in this first week, in this screenshot here, this was taken like Tuesday or Wednesday. It's 6:06 p.m. I'm at 32%. And just to kind of note some of the other situational stuff, I've got 2 bars of LTE. I'm also been connected to a Bluetooth earpiece the whole time. And I've got some other stuff running in the background. But this is the type of battery life I saw. I unplugged a little bit before midnight that night. And like I say, I'm at 32% and it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So just then, if you're using the phone regularly, not real heavy, it's going to easily get you through, an entire day, maybe a day and a half, depending on how hard you need to stretch it. And I can say that because if I was in a place with good signal, low signal will chew through your battery. And that's really what the majority of my battery loss was, because I only had 2 hours and 19 minutes of screen on time. And as you can see, the cell standby, this stuff is even higher than my screen usage. So if I was in a place with better signal, I know I would have had even more battery left. But the flip side of that is, this is another day of usage. All right, as you can see, it's 2:55 p.m. I'm down to 19%. Once again, I'm in an area with terrible coverage. I'm connected to that same Bluetooth earpiece, but I've only been away from the charger for, a little less than 8 hours. And I mean, I've been using it heavy now. You can see the screen is, at the top of the usage chart down here. And I've been using almost 20% of the battery through the screen. So this is what I would kind of call heavy usage. You're just constantly, you're watching YouTube videos, social media, that kind of stuff, coupled with the low signal. That's going to just destroy your battery. So this is sort of like two ends of the spectrum. Depending on the kind of user you are, if you're just a light average user, I mean, you're going to love the battery. There's going to be plenty of battery to get you through whatever kind of situation you're in. If you're a real heavy user, you might have to make some modifications for what I've seen. Like I say, make some modifications to your usage patterns. Keep a, adaptive quick charger with you or something like that. Get your little wireless charger and just kind of be prepared to, charge your phone at least once throughout the day. The great thing is it does have fast charging, so it'll charge pretty quickly. That's always a plus. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the build, which is probably the number, it's pretty high on the list. I don't know what number it is, maybe number 1 or number 2, but just the build quality. I mean, glass and metal pretty much screams premium, high quality, all that stuff that, you expect to get for a phone that's this price. But then it's just, outside of the fingerprint magnet that it is, I'm gonna wipe it off real quick, which might not even help, but I mean, just, it's a fingerprint magnet, but I mean, when it's clean, it's beautiful. When you sit at the table and you pull out your phone, you don't have to be embarrassed anymore when somebody pulls out an iPhone. They pretty much have no argument anymore. Build quality, Samsung has definitely stepped it up a lot, and that's one of the things that kind of drew me to it. And also the S Pen. I had the Galaxy Note 2 and the Note 3, and the S Pen actually sitting flush with the bottom of the phone. That actually, over time, that gets annoying on the older versions, because they always had like a little cutout, and when the S Pen wasn't in there, the solid would be sharp if you were holding it in your hand a certain kind of way. So over time that would get old, but having the S Pen flush in the phone, actually makes the in-hand feel a lot better, which is another reason why I say Samsung really stepped it up as far as the build quality. And so, of course, the main feature, which is the display, and it's amazing. Like I said, I'm coming from a Nexus 6, which had the same resolution display, which was 2560 by 1440. And I mean, just to notice that big of a difference when you're looking at stuff. I mean, even down to the images look like they're painted on the screen because the display and the glass are so close. There's like no gap between the glass. I mean, it's just amazing what Samsung has done with this screen. And even something that I noticed, because I use my phone also as a GPS. Well, if you got your phone in your dash, on your dash in your window, and the sun is kind of behind you, you're going to be fighting sunlight. And with this phone at maximum brightness, the Nexus 6, I mean, it was a struggle. But I mean, this phone, I checked it the first time I put it up. It was so easy to see this phone in direct sunlight, and it wasn't even on max brightness. I mean, I don't know what they did to step that up, but it's amazing in direct sunlight. You know, so on top of being Super AMOLED, so you get those super dark, inky blacks, you know, you also get awesome sunlight visibility. And I mean, it's easily the best display on the market right now, hands down. And the last thing I kind of want to mention again is the fast charging. Once you have a phone with fast charging, it's going to be irreplaceable. You know, if you're coming in, I mean, and that's why in that second battery shot, you know, I wasn't upset. Normally, if you saw something like this, you know, the phone hasn't even been off the charger for 8 hours and it's down to 20%, and it's, you know, it's projecting that you're going to be out of battery by like 4 o'clock. You know, that's a problem normally. But I mean, now the way the fast charging works, 10, 15 minutes on a charger actually means something now. So it's not like the old days where you needed a solid hour to even get some sort of usability out of your phone. Now, I mean, pretty much if you're in an office and you have a chance to sit your phone on the charger for 20 minutes, I mean, that's going to be significant battery increase just in those 20 minutes. Because this guy goes 0 to full in 81 minutes. So if you're anywhere, you know, if I'm at 20% and I drop this guy on the charger in 20 minutes, you know, that's going to be a quarter of the battery I'm getting back. So I'm going from 20 to almost 50% in 20 minutes. You know, I'm ready to go at that point. I can do pretty much whatever I need to do for the rest of the day and not worry. But so I guess I'm going to close with saying, you know, this phone is definitely one that I recommend getting. As of right now, the iPhones haven't come out yet. They're going to come out next month. As of right now, I say that the Note 5 is the top dog. It's pretty much no compromise. I mean, it's got the best screen. It's got the best camera on the market. Battery life is surprisingly good. The build, you know, no more getting made fun of with having a Samsung phone and it being all plasticky and stuff like that. I mean, Samsung has really just kind of checked every box with this guy. You know, some people don't like it. They feel like the Note, you should have removable storage and be able to swap your battery. To be honest, I don't know, I don't care. Those things don't faze me. But like I said, this is my personal opinion. Yeah, this phone is the top dog. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, subscribe, like, thumbs up, thumbs down. Just watch the video. You know, and I guess I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.